Hi there, welcome, and thank you so much to T12T for having me here tonight. My name is Åsa Gustafsson, my company is Futurista, Diversity and Inclusion, and tonight we will talk about inclusive language for people with disability, just in order to make the workplace more accessible. My experience is that talking about accessibility and disability, a lot of people I meet tend to worry about what words to use. So we will start with just the basic. You know the difference between disabled and disability? A lot of you probably do, but here's a short one. Disability. It's a person with a disability. A person has a disability, but it's their surrounding that is disabled. A person becomes disabled if the surrounding is disabled. Otherwise, the disability is not disabled. Does that make sense? Yeah. And then we have the word handicap. Let's just leave that one at the go, of course. And second, when we think about disability and accessibility, a lot of us tend to think about people using wheelchairs, and that's great, but let's just not stop there, because then it would be like this short movie. Oh, there comes a hand to push the button with a wheelchair on. Yeah, and we see a door slowly opening and shows stairs. Cred for trying, but the same as in this example, if we just focus on using wheelchair and accessibility for that, we will miss the whole big group of people who have invisible disabilities. And to make sense of this inclusive language, what is it, why should we talk about it? I'm going to show you a pyramid here, and in the bottom you will have ableism and structure. We all had those. Many of us have had this colleague who is really amazing, creative, energetic, like really fast thinking. I had the honor once to work with a colleague named, we will name her Anna tonight. She was the coolest one to work with. She could come into the room where I was working with accessibility project, a big accessibility project, and I had my flow scheme on the wall, and she could just come into like, oh, look, they're on the, you should do that one there and there. Have you thought about the risk there? Like, just by looking at it. She was the best one to share an office with. Until we got a new boss. Anna she was always open with that. She has autism and ADD. Yeah, so she told our new boss, who only heard autism and ADD. She's like, nah, Anna needs to get like less like hard work, like less qualitative work. So she put her with only administrative work. Anna, who used to be like this fun, happy person, well, she got more quiet. Yeah, she got more sick days. She didn't come to work. And when the boss needed to downsize, guess who lost her job? Yeah, my colleague Anna. Good to know now is that she's actually the head of a big organization right now. Well, what happened here was ableism. And what is ableism then? Well, if we look at a definition, it's the discrimination and social prejudice against people with disabilities based on the beliefs that typical abilities are superior. Ableism is rooted in the assumption that disabled people require fixing and that a disability defines people. Yeah, and defines people with a disability. Yeah, so this is the base here of the pyramid. Above that one, we have microaggressions, and you will soon get some example of how that one is. It's sort of the language of ableism. Above that, it's victimization and bullying, and that's where the legislation comes in. And we have discrimination, and in the top, violence. And as you can see the arrow next to the pyramid, it all is connected to each other. Ableism is the cause of violence, it's the cause of discrimination. Microaggressions can lead to discrimination, and so on. Yeah, here's some fun examples of microaggressions. A young man happily says, "Oh, it doesn't show you have autism." And the young redhead woman answers, "Well, thank you. It doesn't show that you're normal either." Yeah. Or the absolutely most common wording that all of my friends with disability hear. "Oh, you're such an inspiration." "Oh, you're so good doing that." Except that it comes in sort of when you do the everyday thing. In this picture you see two men, one sitting in a wheelchair and one sitting in a chair. They're talking about something they see on the screen. Maybe they're programming together or something. Imagine another colleague comes up to the blonde guy sitting in a wheelchair saying, "Oh, you're such an inspiration." He's like a bit quizzed, like, "Oh, what do you mean? We're just doing like a basic thing. What do you mean me being an inspiration? I'm not doing any special today." Nah. Or do you mean I'm an inspiration for just getting up in the morning and actually have a job? Yeah, that is the problem, that those "you're such an inspiration," well, they put the bar of what you expect of a person with a disability really low. I mean, And here, some other ones. "I can't find my files. I'm oh so OCD today." Or, "I can't seem to write. I'm so dyslexic." And for a person who is really, really like focusing on details, "Oh, you're so autistic." Oh, I hear those words like on the subway quite often. And it is the ableist language. Microaggression is the ableist language that trivialize and diminish disability to be something that can be cured, and it is nothing serious about it. Well, those microaggressions, this ableist language, you hear it every day. It's like the Groundhog Day movie. Have you seen it one? Waking up and it's Monday morning again. You hear it all the time. And you might think of those microaggressions as mosquitoes. Yeah, one comment. What does that have to do anything? Like, yeah, you can shake it off. Okay, she's a person with low expectations. Yeah. But when you hear it day after day after day, you start to question your own abilities. When it goes to victimizations and bullying, yeah, you sort of, the risks of heart diseases increases. depression, suicide, unemployment. Yeah, it's like having 1,000 mosquitoes attacking you all the time. I'm gonna show you some statements here. Do you think it is important to having eye contact? Let's say in interviews or in a meeting. Is it important? Nah? Yeah? Well, a lot of people would disagree, especially if you have ADHD, autism, visual impairment, or if you just come from another culture than the Swedish one. Yeah. And what do you miss when you think that someone should have eye contact with you? Instead of sitting cross to each other, you can actually sit next to each other and you will feel much more comfortable talking. It's like Greta Thunberg says, I'm proud to be on the spectrum. And no, autumn is not a gift. For most, it's an endless fight against schools, workplace and bullies. But under the right circumstances, given the right adjustments, it can be a superpower. Think about my colleague Anna. Yep. Next statement. Is it important with right grammar in emails? Well, a person with dyslexia would probably disagree, or just having a second language. And talking about dyslexia, do you know how an A looks from underneath? Yeah, a person with dyslexia probably describe the A. It has to do how the brain functions and qualities. You see it in that makes people with disability overrepresented among engineers and architects. I'm gonna end this one with giving you the best examples to not trip in the ableism trap. Okay? My boss would have a big use of this one. It's the people first language. Some researchers, well, they put together a big group of people and they put it in, divided them into group A and group B. Group A, they would talk about mentally ill people. Yeah? And group B talked about people with mental illness. Yeah, they talked for a while and then they gathered in a big room and there comes some people with their own mental illness problems, and they met in a sort of speed dating. After the speed dating session, they got back to the group A and B. The group who previously talked about mentally ill people, when they talked about the people they just met, they talked about illnesses, symptoms, problems. Group B, who talked about people with mental illness before, well, they could mention job, family, interests, sports, political view, hobbies, you name it. And they met the same person. So if you use the people language first, like saying Anna who's blind, Anna who has autism instead of autistic Anna and blind Anna. And with that, I would say thank you and please connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm Åsa Gustafsson, Futurista. And I hope there's some time for Q&A. Thank you.